Good evening, this is Nanette Leonardo. I will be presenting to you my signature assignment for the NP 705. This is the Proactive Health Communication Portfolio Project. The content of this portfolio are as enumerated here in this slide and will be discussed with you as we go along with this presentation. First is the overview. Currently numbered nearly 17.3 million, they represent 6% of the U.S. population and is expected to exceed 40 million by 2015. Asian Americans have surpassed Hispanic as the most rapidly growing racial ethnic group in the United States today. When you say Asian Americans, we are referring to people whose ethnic origins are from East Asia, South Asia, or Southeast Asia, and they are the ones identified as Chinese, Filipinos, Indians, Koreans, Japanese, Vietnamese, and other Asians. From the Sleuthing Journal assignment, I have selected the city of my residence, the city of Cerritos here in LA County, which is the second most populous area for Asians in the LA County, most of whom are Chinese, Filipinos, and Koreans. The demographics that I have selected shows that the total population is 55,000 plus, with a median household of more than 95,000. 60.6% are Asians, with an educational level of 50.4% has a college degree, and 92.7% are high school graduates. Health-wise, the statistics for Cerritos County is impressive. 88% non-smoker, 83% are physically active. We have 79% who are of healthy weight, and 76% of the population are insured. However, what is unique to this population, and that's why I've selected to present this, is the risk for hepatitis B and liver cancer, which is rampant or predominant among Asian Americans. Although there are 2 billion cases worldwide, 1 in 3 have been infected with hepatitis B virus. 1 in 10 actually, Asian Pacific Americans are carriers of the virus, which is the leading cause of liver cancer. Hepatitis B virus infection is the predominant cause of hepatocellular carcinoma. The burden of disease is greatest among Asian Americans, for whom the incidence of liver cancer is twice greater than non-Hispanic whites. Korean males unfortunately have the highest liver cancer mortality rate, and screening and vaccination for the virus in Asian American patients is greatly inadequate. So there is a need to improve the HBV knowledge and care by primary providers, and critically needed. Now, to summarize the previous slides, these are the alarming figures. Second to tobacco use, chronic hepatitis B infection is the most important cause of cancer in the world. Again, 2 billion cases worldwide, 1 is to 3 people are infected or are carriers. The Asian Americans are twice or more likely to develop the virus, hepatitis B infection. More than 60% of cases in the United States are among this population. More than 25% of hepatitis B will progress to hepatocellular carcinoma if left untreated. And more than 75% of this carcinoma occurs among hepatitis B carriers. Asian Americans were 8 times more likely to die from hepatitis B than non-Hispanic whites. So you can see all of these figures are quite alarming, and considering that Cerritos has a high population of Asian Americans, I have selected to highlight the need for awareness for hepatitis B screening, testing, and treatment. I also would like to reconnect this with the Healthy People 2020. According to the Healthy People 2020 agenda, it includes a comprehensive immunization strategy to eliminate transmission of hepatitis B infection in the United States, including the immunization of adults. The Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices provides adult immunization recommendations as part of a strategy to eliminate transmission of the hepatitis B virus. The recommendations are to increase hepatitis B vaccination of at-risk adults, particularly Asian Americans, so that they are universally vaccinated against the disease. Now, there are numerous barriers to cancer screening. Among them is being older, having less education, being recent immigrants, or are poor and uninsured. Although, like I have mentioned before, the populace of Cerritos, most of them are between the ages of 25 to 54. Most are educated, most are affluent, and most are insured. However, what is distinct to the population is their ethnicity. A lot of them are Asian Americans, therefore, they are most at risk for hepatitis B. And unfortunately, they usually don't know that they are infected or they are carriers. Screening challenges have included a lack of culturally and linguistically tailored information on the importance of screening to decrease mortality. Many older Asian Americans often seek health care only after cancer symptoms have become apparent. This is attributable to the fatalistic mentality of the Asian culture. Let us then connect the hepatitis B risk factors into our convergence theory application, which was also presented as part of a previous assignment for DNP 705. I'm presenting to you Lawrence Kincaid's convergence model, which he formulated in 1979 and which led to a relational perspective of human communication. It states that when information is shared with individuals or groups taking part in the communication process, it eventually will lead towards mutual agreement and mutual understanding. Communication in this model is viewed as a process rather than a single event. The model emphasizes information exchanges and networks that exist or are built between individuals. To show you a very simple diagram of the convergence model, I have selected this representation, preventing a hepatitis B transmission. We have two populations here. Population A, this will be the Asian Americans, recent immigrants, or those who have their hepatitis B status unknown. Population B will include the health providers, nurses, doctors, and the general public health community. Now, both populations are aware that there is hepatitis B, that there are fatal consequences if it is undiagnosed or untreated, and that there has to be an increased awareness regarding screening, testing, and treatment. So constant communication between these two populations will produce eventually an agreement, and they could get into a common denominator, that is hepatitis B testing treatment is important to undertake. That is represented here in the overlapping circles. So as you can see, this is a good example or a simple example of the convergence theory of Lawrence Kincaid as it applies to preventing hepatitis B transmission. It simply states that the more people communicate with each other, the more similar their views of the world become. The strategies to prevent and control the hepatitis B burden among Asian Americans are enumerated here. Number 1, screen persons born in areas with more than 2% hepatitis B surface antigen rates. Number 2 is vaccinate Asian Americans, infants and children. The protocol in all U.S. hospitals right now is to vaccinate all newborns within 6 hours of birth with the first dose of hepatitis B. The hepatitis B vaccine is available in 3 monthly doses, and it gives you protection for life. Vaccinate also Asian American adults. Serological tests for hepatitis B surface antigen should be done first, and after tests are known, determine if vaccination is appropriate. So our target here are those with hepatitis B surface antigen negative and those who have no antibodies against hepatitis B. Now, how do we get the word out regarding this very important or very dangerous illness? My suggestions are: number 1, blog posts regarding the campaign will be included in the Cerritos monthly newsletter and the local church weekly newsletter of the Holy Family Church, which I attend. Send out flyers and posters to be placed in strategic areas frequented by the residents, such as the library, banks, Asian markets, nail salons, clinics, parks, and pharmacies. I also suggest an ongoing public service announcement that will be placed in the library and the sheriff's office bulletins. and also hepatitis B screening to be offered on a regular basis during the months of May as part of the Asia Pacific Heritage Month celebration and the Hepatitis Awareness Month in the United States. May 19 is actually the hepatitis testing day, the National Hepatitis Testing Day, and this would be a good time to zero in on the message of how important it is for all to be screened, to know their status, and to be treated if they are found to be positive. And if not, then to get vaccinated so that they would have protection against hepatitis B. So these are just some of the posters I have seen online that is available. It could be duplicated and it could be presented or placed in strategic areas that I have mentioned before. This is a blog that I have written myself, and I'm planning to submit this to the Cerritos newsletter to run it at least once a month, and into the church newsletter at least to run it bi-weekly and their announcement portions. This is a poster that I have designed, simple, easy to understand, catchy. It's a Stop Hepatitis B Screening is free. Again, I've selected Cerritos High School Gymnasium, tentative date May 19th from 8 to 5, and the address is here. So to highlight the Asian Heritage Month and the Hepatitis B month of May. This is a brochure that I have developed also about hepatitis B, which could be given and placed in different clinics, could be given as flyers in places that the Asian population of Cerritos frequents, like the dry cleaners, the restaurants, the groceries, the nail salons, the banks, and all of those places. So this is the back page of that one. And these are some posters actually available online, also could be reproduced, available in CDC, that has catchy messages, simple, direct, easy to understand. I have included also the link. There are 2 links to public service announcements. These are 30-second videos targeted for the Asian population, which they could easily watch. It's easy to understand. Most Asians can relate to it. So I suggest you copy paste this and actually watch the videos. So during the sleuthing journal, as I was going through the community, I have taken pictures, and these are actually ideal sites for where to post the posters and the flyers and the announcements in the library. So on doors of the groceries and on doors of establishments. There is also a copy of the newsletter of the church. There is also a bulletin. There is a video bulletin that runs continuously. One is in the library and the other one is in the sheriff's office. So the PSA, the public service announcement videos, could easily run into this, okay, to increase awareness against hepatitis B. So finally, my reflections on this presentation are: Asian Americans are at risk and vulnerable to hepatitis B infection. It can lead to liver cancer if untreated. It is highly fatal, especially among Asian Americans. Therefore, everyone needs to get screened and tested. There is a vaccine to prevent it and drugs to cure hepatitis B. So for all of you listening and watching this video, please share this, especially among the Asian American population. Thank you and good night. These are my references. Good day.